Kia ora, I'm Richard Templer. I'm the Chief Executive of Te Ao Rangahau Engineering New Zealand, and welcome to this quarter's CE Chat. So we've been working to strengthen the rules around being a chartered professional engineer in New Zealand. The focus of these changes has been to introduce classes of registration, to change the way reassessments are done to include the classes, and to strengthen the complaints and disciplinary process. We went out and we consulted with you on these changes, and we received 180 submissions in response. And we've incorporated that feedback into the changes we've made. The changes were discussed and agreed by the Chartered Professional Engineers Board in February, and we're now in the process of implementing those changes. We've also taken the opportunity to meet with Minister Penk, the Minister of Building and Construction, and brief him on the changes, as well as briefing MB in their role as stewards of the building system. These are important changes, and we'll be keeping all CPEng engineers up to date through Discover and also through direct emails. When we've asked for your feedback, you've told us how important it is to get to technical advice and support. A key way we provide this is through our technical groups. We have a significant number of technical groups, approximately 35, and we've been looking at how we can better support them to deliver better services to you. So this has led to our technical groups strategy, or our group strategy. And this is looking at all the activities our groups undertake, how Engineering New Zealand supports them, and are there ways of doing things better. This has been a collaborative project. We've been working with the groups, and there is in fact a steering committee composed of the technical group members who are overseeing the project. We've been seeking their advice and their input on better ways of doing things. And throughout the course of the rest of the year, we'll be giving you updates on what we've discovered as part of the strategy and what changes we're going to make in response to it. In March this year, we met with the Minister of Infrastructure, the Honourable Chris Bishop, together with the Association of Consulting and Engineering and Civil Contractors, to talk about the downturn in infrastructure spend occurring from both central and local government. And this has impacted across the engineering profession and the engineering sector. We talked to the Minister about solutions, bringing government spending forward, bringing out packages, small packages of work to get things underway, encouraging local and central government to focus on repairs and maintenance spending. And in addition to talking to the Minister, we of course talked to the officials who were also there with the Minister to try and get, if you like, a full court press to try and hit as many parts of government as possible. The Minister listened to these concerns and responded to us both in writing and in person, and has directed NZTA to get work packages out, is encouraging local government to get repairs and maintenance underway, has asked the Infrastructure Commission to look at how actual spending can be measured compared to what is budgeted, and has also agreed to talk to his fellow ministers in the infrastructure portfolio. So this was a good outcome. We are continuing to press on this issue because it's vitally important that the work actually get to market. Together with Aotearoa, one of the Workforce Development Councils, and the Association of Consulting and Engineering, ACE New Zealand, we have developed a skills action plan. This is about addressing the shortage of engineers and engineering technicians and technologists in New Zealand. We currently have a shortfall of around 2,300 engineers who leave the workforce versus those who are trained every year. And the current downturn across the engineering profession has only made this worse. New Zealand graduates around 9% of engineering students relative to all other graduates. And by international standards, this is very low. By comparison, in Korea, 40% of tertiary graduates train in engineering. New Zealand has traditionally made up the shortfall by importing engineers. The problem is there's a worldwide shortage of engineers if we look into the future, with projects needed in renewable energy to respond to climate change, to deal with advances in technology. The whole world is looking for more engineers. That's why engineers in New Zealand who don't have work are heading overseas and finding it, but it means that in the future we just won't have enough engineers. So the Skills Action Plan sets out what can be done about it. That means targeting interventions at all levels of education, from primary through intermediate through to secondary, to increase the number of students who are ultimately able to get into university and stay there and study engineering. And then it's also about making changes to the profession, so more people want to stay in engineering, because we know a significant number of engineers leave after 2 or 3 years. So it's about making the profession more attractive and making the profession more inclusive so that we retain more engineers. We're also talking to ministers about this, and we have a meeting in May with Minister Reti in his role as Minister of Tertiary Education to talk to him about the Skills Action Plan. We've heard you loud and clear. The standard system in New Zealand is not working as well as it should. Standards are very expensive, they're often outdated, they don't necessarily have the international linkages they should, and updating any standard requires a huge investment of volunteer time. So what can be done about this? Well, we're working directly with Standards New Zealand and also with MB on solutions to these problems. It's a very challenging space because New Zealand runs a user pays model for standards, which is difficult given the small size of our market. So in order to advance these solutions, we're looking to have a meeting with Minister Simpson, who's the Minister in charge of standards, to directly address these issues. Responding to climate change and sustainability is a key part of every engineer's work. With Engineering Climate Action, we're looking to give you the tools and the understanding to be able to do this. We've recently released a series of videos looking at how engineers are doing this in their work every day. These are really exciting videos which show both the process and the solutions engineers are using and developing in order to respond to climate change. In addition, on our website, we have detailed tools, advice, processes and systems you can use to engineer better solutions in climate change. Our Engineering Climate Action work has been enhanced by a new partnership with EECA, the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Authority. This partnership allows Engineering New Zealand and our members to get access to new learning and professional development materials which enable better understanding of energy affordability, productivity and security. It also supports the Wonder Project Power Challenge, which is all about getting students to understand power systems, renewable energy and energy efficiency. The outcome of our board elections were announced at our March AGM. We were delighted to have Hamish McKenzie reappointed to a board position, and also to have Lupacina Koro as our new emerging professional director. Congratulations to them both. Thank you very much for listening to this quarterly update. If you have any questions you'd like to ask me, please get in touch at hello@engineeringnz.org. I wish you all the best for this quarter and look forward to seeing you again soon.